Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me here today for another discussion video. E3 is on its way, and I myself could not be more excited. There are certain things that I'd like to see out of each of the big publishers at E3, Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo. Now granted, Sony is not going to be at E3 in a traditional sense this year. They're not having a press conference, as they did not even have a PlayStation experience last December. And their reason for that is because they said that they don't have a whole lot to talk about. Well, over the last few weeks, they've decided to give out more information on what the supposedly named PlayStation 5 is going to be, what they're just calling the next generation PlayStation at this time. And the stats for that were astronomical. Two of the biggest pieces of news that were revealed when they started talking about the PlayStation 5 in an interview is that it is, in fact, going to be backwards compatible with PlayStation 4. Now, this, to me, was probably the biggest news of all. Backwards compatibility is something, to me, that is extremely, extremely important. Not only is it a goodwill gesture towards new customers when purchasing that console, it also ensures for people like me that love collecting video games that you'll be able to play all of them on one console. That was, in my opinion, one of the best things that Nintendo started doing when they launched the Wii with the Virtual Console. It is part of the reason why, as of right now, I have been playing most of my games on Xbox. I can play my Xbox 360 games and then jump into the continuation of those franchises on the Xbox One. Another big piece of news from that was also the simple fact that it is more than likely going to have a solid state drive, drastically cutting down loading times. For an example, they used Spider-Man with his fast travel when on a PS4 Pro. The fast travel loading screen took about 15 seconds, and according to the interviewer, when they played this on a PlayStation 5 and did the exact same fast travel point, it took 0.8 seconds, so not even a whole second. And that is not the only thing that is going to be improved when it comes to playing PlayStation 4 games. They can load the games faster, meaning that while playing Spider-Man and swinging through the city, Spider-Man can only hit a very specific top speed when swinging, because that is as fast as the game can actually load the world into. But if the game can load the world faster, that means Spider-Man's going to be able to travel faster across the map. Now, honestly, I would like to see them announce a price and announce a date. Now, they're not going to have a traditional press conference or media conference, so I would expect this to be done in a pre-recorded video, much like a Nintendo Direct. I would like to get more information, such as a release date for the specific games that they've been showing with no release date, like The Last of Us 2. Hideo Kojima's game, Death Stranding, I would like to know more about that. They've just recently shown in a state of play another Final Fantasy VII remake trailer, saying, more information in June. And that is, of course, around E3, so I would like to see them show something of this game. This game was announced back in 2015, and it is now 2019, 4 years later, and we still have nothing from Square except trailers. I would also expect them to have a release date for Ghost of Tsushima, if I pronounce that properly. I know that a lot of the games that they've been showing with no release date, probably some of them could have the possibility of being a next-generation PlayStation game. If not, though, we do know at least that if they are PS4 games, they will be backwards compatible on the system. They've been showing a great deal of PlayStation VR support, which is something that I think is fantastic, considering that I own one. I do, however, want to see a game that really makes me want to play the VR. I get a little bit of motion sickness when playing the VR. The most I could probably play it is anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes, maybe to an hour at most. And I've played games like Resident Evil, Elder Scrolls, Skyrim in VR. And as silly as this is, I would love to see them have Fallout 4 PSVR announced. This is something that I'm actually shocked that they haven't done, considering how many times they've re-released Skyrim in the past. But yeah, when it comes to PlayStation, what I expect them and what I want from them is I want them to show us things that they haven't shown us yet. And again, I know they're not going to have a press conference. They've been doing these state of play videos that are anywhere from 10 to 15 to 20 minutes long. The first one was VR focused. The second one just happened and showed Medieval and Final Fantasy VII and a few other games. But I want more information about their upcoming products. Now, when it comes to Nintendo, my expectations, I've learned to keep them low. Nintendo has been knocking it out of the park when it comes to the Nintendo Switch recently over the last 2 years since it released in 2017. But before that, they were nothing but a constant trail of disappointment. With their Nintendo Direct, I want to see more of Pokemon Sword and Shield. I want another update on Metroid Prime 4. This was something that they announced at the last E3 that they had, and they announced that it wasn't Retro Games working on it, but it was another studio. They weren't really clear on exactly what it was that was happening with that game, just that they had finally started development on it. And then late last year, they brought up the fact in a Nintendo Direct that they had to completely restart development on Metroid Prime 4 because it didn't meet their expectations, which, you know what, I applaud them for that, but I do not want another Breath of the Wild situation where they give one announcement date and then it gets pushed, and then another, and then another, and then another, and then before you know it, Metroid Prime 4 is on the successor to the Nintendo Switch. I don't want that. I want them to be able to get a strong development path through and get this game out at least by the end of 2021. By then, the Nintendo Switch will have been out for at least 4 years, and that is plenty of time to develop a game. I would like to see more information on anything related to a virtual console. I do not pay for the Nintendo Online service and its offering of NES games. I'm going to be honest, I'm completely over the NES games. I purchased every single one of those games on the Wii and then on the Wii U, and most of them on the 3DS were available. I would like to see them talk more about their online services, the games that they're going to be offering. I would like to see them announce something akin to PlayStation Plus or Xbox Live Games with Gold, where they give away one free title a month. I guess you could kind of count the Nintendo Online service that, because they do give you free NES games a month. But again, I am so over the NES. I'd like to see them introduce the SNES. I'd like to see them introduce Nintendo 64. I'd like to see them start putting GameCube games on a virtual console type platform, because they can only add so many more games and so many different platforms like the SNES and the Nintendo 64 to their online service subscription without raising it, that eventually it's going to cost just as much as a PlayStation Plus membership or an Xbox Live Gold membership. I am most certainly excited to hear more about the remake of A Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. It is a game that I played through earlier in the year, and it still is a lot of fun, and I cannot wait to see what kind of modernizations that they've made to this game. There's been rumors lately that Nintendo is going to be re-releasing the Nintendo Switch with an updated, slightly more modest improvement version. And then, of course, they're going to have their more simplified version that is eventually going to be set to replace the Nintendo 3DS. They say that they're not launching new hardware this year. Nintendo does. But however, does a redesigned version of the Nintendo Switch count to them as new hardware? We don't know. We won't know until E3. But regardless, I would like to see more information on whatever it is that they're working on when it comes to the hardware refresh, because my Nintendo Switch is in dire need of a replacement. It has a slight bend to it from all the heat. It's not cracked and it's not broken. It still works in handheld and it still works in docked, but nonetheless, the bend is there and it's somewhat noticeable to me and a little bit bothersome. And last but least, that leaves Microsoft, the big guns for this year's Electronics Gaming Expo. The biggest E3 that they've had on record coming from them themselves. I want to see the new Halo game. I want to see a trailer. I want an explanation of the multiplayer. I want to know what type of gameplay to expect. Is it going to be more classic? Is it going to be modern like Halo Infinite's was? Or is it going to be a mix of both that kind of lands somewhere like how Halo Reach played? And speaking of Halo Reach, if we do not get an announcement about that moving to the Insider program, I would love to hear them talk about it on stage, maybe even show off some footage. If it's not going to be ready anytime soon, at least hit us with a nice, pretty looking trailer to hold us over. Microsoft as well has been talking about their new next generation Xbox console. This is the time to show it. There's rumors that there's two versions, where there is a more expensive premium version that will have the hard drive, it'll run discs, it'll be 4K, maybe 8K. And then there is a less powerful version that is being rumored to just be a streaming box that will sit under your entertainment center and you stream everything from the Microsoft servers, the xCloud servers, which is something else that I would like to see more about and more of an honest presentation. They've shown the xCloud games running on mobile with Forza Horizon. And you know what? Honestly, it almost looked like a pre-recorded video that was just playing on the phone that the woman was reacting to. Or it had horrible, horrible input latency. Microsoft has already stated that they're going to be telling us what their new studios they've purchased are working on. They do have things to show, and these are Phil Spencer's, head of Xbox's, words himself. Finding out a release date for the new console, finding out potential prices for the new console, is also something that I'm hoping that they will show and talk about. Gears 5 is another game that I am looking forward to that has been rumored to be coming out this year. I believe it was announced by Xbox last year at last E3 that it was set for a 2019 release. I would like to see more of that. I would like to get another campaign trailer, maybe get some multiplayer trailer, and then of course, new surprises are always welcome as well. What are you guys looking forward to when it comes to E3? Go ahead and leave your comments in the section down below. I'm interested to know. And don't forget, as always, to be part of the conversation and to have your voice heard, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs down if you didn't. Just let me know why so that I can always improve the videos and my channel. But until next time, everybody, thank you all for joining me here today, and I'll see all of you in the next video.